Hi guys, my name is Shikha and welcome to my channel Shikha Reads It. Today I'm going to talk about If I Had to Tell It Again by Gayatri Prabhu. This book was sent to me by HarperCollins for review. Just look at this book. Doesn't it look like one of those simple ones which you can finish during a metro ride? Could you be any more wrong? I thought so too and I was utterly mistaken. This less than 200 pages long book has the power to leave you completely speechless. Somewhere down the line, I forgot the mool mantra of reading, which is never ever judge a book by its cover or its page number or its size, basically anything apart from its content. And I'm ashamed to say that I forgot it, kinda, sorta. And this book reminded me that mantra again. So, as you can tell, I am currently in awe of this book. It's a memoir, Gayatri Prabhu's own life story. And if you have watched any of my previous videos, I mentioned in one that I find it very tough to review a memoir. It's not fiction, it's someone's life story. They have shared their ups and downs, highs and lows, their happiness, their hardships. And it feels kinda arrogant to pass comment on someone's actual life experience. But I'll try my level best to explain what I felt while I was reading this book. There are two reasons behind it. A, I want more and more people to read this book, and B, I want people to talk openly about the issues which are discussed in this book. The book chronicles author's relationship with her late father, who was a very complex man to say the least, and how this relationship impacted her whole life. To the outside world, this person was epitome of kindness, somebody who always helped needy people or took care of orphan kids or participated in community projects. So there was this mask of greatness behind which he used to hide himself. But internally he was suffering from depression. He never accepted that throughout his life. But he was struggling, and this struggle eventually turned him into an alcoholic. Her father wanted to become a doctor, but he couldn't pursue his dreams. He married early and had a family, so he started thinking that he's a failure in life. He started resenting his family. He used to think that they are an obstacle in his path of success. His greatest wish in life was to die an early death and have a grand exit from this world. So that's how he was. Most of the times, books written about mental illness or depression tend to focus on struggle part, then acceptance, and then the recovery portion. This book actually focuses on the denial part. What happens when a patient of mental illness refuses to believe that he is suffering from an illness, how it affects his family, how sometimes depression can extend its claws and attack someone else in the family because of what they are facing. All these things are generally brushed under the rug. We as a society tend to behave as if nothing is wrong, everything is okay, and go our own way, and that's where the problem lies. I can't even imagine how tough it must have been for author to share her story, especially when our society is so judgmental. I think somewhere in the book she mentioned that we as a society are not ready to accept the truth, and that's why people avoid writing memoirs. All her family members, her friends, her relatives, they wanted her to write about her father's positive side, his charity work. Basically, they wanted her to present a pretty picture. But this book is not written to please society or people. She wrote this book because she wanted to forgive her father and move forward in life. You know what? It's easy to face the world because these are unknown people. What they say doesn't matter at the end. But it's harder to face your own family and friends because they are going to judge you for the rest of your life. So I must salute the courage of this woman who not only fought her own demons, she also stood up against the whole world simultaneously. Apart from author's relationship with her father, this book also deals with issues such as domestic violence, child abuse, and author's own battle with depression. Talking about domestic violence, most people think that it's only about physical torture. It's not. Well, people know that it also includes mental torture, but they don't understand what mental torture is. Throughout their life, women are conditioned that it's okay if sometimes male member of the family belittles them or scream at them because hey, it's man of the house, they can do that. In this whole book, author has mentioned so many little indescribable incidents or moments which you can't pinpoint as domestic violence individually, but when you look at the big picture, it's mental torture alright. For example, things like dad was tense so he screamed at you, or he struck you, what's the big deal, why are you creating a scene, so he was little drunk and created a scene, or he drunk and drive, why you always have to make a fuss. All these things are sign of domestic violence. Please don't take that lightly. At one point you fail to understand why are you trying to justify all these things, and Gayatri's message is very clear. If it doesn't feel right, then it is most probably not right. So please stop trying to justify it. Only thing about this book which bothered me a little bit is the part which was written in form of a play. I didn't understand why this section was added. It didn't elevate the story. Basically, I was not able to connect with it. I prefer the prose part. It's a heart-wrenching book, not at all easy to read. It took me at least 2 weeks to finish this 185-page book, mostly because at times it got so serious that I had to put it down and give myself some time to absorb what I was reading. Story is very sensitive. It is definitely one of the hardest book which I've ever read. And please don't think that I'm trying to discourage you. No, I want you to read this book. All I'm saying is be a little prepared when you start this one. I won't recommend reading it in a public place because it's a volatile book and it requires your full attention span. I gave it 4 out of 5. So this was my review of If I Had to Tell It Again by Gayatri Prabhu. If you find this review useful, do let me know in the comment section down below. Apart from that, you know the drill. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.